I'm Debs Edwards, I'm a local councillor, but most importantly in Southcote I am, well for me it is, other people may be a little bit wary of me, I am chair of Southcote IT Experience. I've been chair for just over 10 years. When I became chair, I decided that what site needed was build a really good partnership with New Directions, because the people that live in Southcote were desperate for a better sort of style of education for themselves, a family style of education. With what I mean is they could leave their troubles by the door and they could come in and they can be assessed, they could learn IT, they had ambitions, they were becoming aspiring for their children, they wanted to keep up with their kids. So I had been teaching keeping up with the kids and had trained at New Directions as a tutor to do open college network, basic and intermediate, and which we continued. But the grasp was with the local communities that they needed a lot more and needed something a little bit more, not professional, a little bit higher grade. So we working with New Directions, and over the following year we managed to decide that a European computer driving licence would be absolutely brilliant. But what was also leading me was I was finding, and the tutors were finding, that there were a lot of literacy and numeracy skills, not only for our hard to reach parents, but also for our parents that were coming into the area. We have a large number of flatted social housing, which has quite a large churn, and we were having people from all over the world, and they wished to learn English and numeracy and conversation. This took a little while to get set up due to funding issues, and that wasn't funding from New Directions. We were all keen to do it together and work as a huge team. It was because of the directions from central government. But now, following some very hard work, some shifting around, we have managed to run 2 courses of numeracy, 1 course of English conversation, 1 course of literacy. We run ECDL twice a week. We've also in the past done ECDL Advanced. We've also done OCR, First Steps, loads and loads of fantastic courses, which has really set up our parents and also set up our children, because the parents are learning and they're helping their children. Part of the reason we are very popular, we have quite a high number of students, is because we offer free creche facilities, which is absolutely essential for us to be able to help our local population. There are a lot of parents here who have very young children and aren't able to make the college. There is no free childcare out there. And working with New Directions, we've managed to balance this, so we can have free childcare. They have expert nurses. We have actually used to run our own creche, which was an Ofsted outstanding creche. We are extremely aspirational, not only for our children, but also for our parents. What really counts in a place like Southcote, which is a super output area, is being able to work with partners across the whole of Reading, so that we can make sure that poverty and children not being able to read and write properly, having no aspirations to the parents, does not happen, and this is what we're aiming to do. And without New Directions we couldn't manage.
Thank you.
What we told you about highlighting anything.
I'll just fill it out.
That's all you've got to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll just get very near to the
Start with this.
I wondered if you'd be kind enough to tell everybody just exactly where you started. So I'd like you to cast your mind back all those years and tell us, can you remember which year it was that you actually started your adult education journey?
Yep, in about 2004.
2004.
2004. It's a funny story. I was at a parent and toddler group, and they needed the numbers to be made up in a class. So I was literally dragged out of a parent and toddler group and put into this class for keeping up with the kids, with learning how to do IT. I'd never logged onto a computer before, terrified me to death, but after a couple of weeks I was absolutely hooked, and that was the beginning of my adult learner journey.
And had you heard of New Directions at that time?
Yep, I knew about New Directions. I did have a different idea about what it'd be like. I just thought it'd be, like being in a classroom back at school, but it was nothing like that at all.
Can you remember what course you did after the parent and toddler group?
Yep, my first class was keeping up with the kids, so it was literally how to log onto a computer, how to do a bit of typing, how to use the mouse. I didn't know any of that stuff before. Then I progressed on to, I think it was called OCN back then. It's something where I got a certificate for, and I learned how to do Word, a bit of Excel, things like that, and then eventually went on to doing the ECDL course, which was a lot more in depth, and that definitely that helped me then to realise that I wanted to work with computers. So yeah.
How did you hear about the other courses that you went on? Who told you about those?
I heard about most of the courses through either my tutor or through word of mouth, or I would ask people, or I would look at the New Directions brochure. So after doing ECDL and then progressing on to advanced ECDL and passing them all, I had a chat with Bridget Parslow, who's been my main tutor along my journey, and she said that it might be a good idea if I did a volunteering course. So I did the City and Guilds supporting learners course at New Directions at the Wilson Road Centre when it was there, and then so that kind of got me into supporting other learners, and after doing that and having some success with supporting learners, I decided I wanted to do a bit of teaching. So also then progressed on to the Petals course, which I passed successfully.
Great.
Okay, well in 2007 I was really into computing. I was really into it. My online life was exploding, going on all sorts of social media sites and trying to connect with the world through computers. So I was that into it that I wanted to learn even more. I wanted to figure out how computers worked. So after looking into it, I eventually signed up to an Open University course, and loved it so much that I've carried on with it, and I'm now in my final year and I'm about to get a degree. So yeah. So
Brilliant.
but I wouldn't have been able to. I wouldn't have had the courage to do that if it hadn't been for the New Directions courses that I'd done before.